The man suddenly realized in fear while on the plane. The flight he was on was number 1015, and today's date was also October 15th. Even the flight's original departure time had been delayed from 9:30 to 10:15. That's way too many coincidences. Justin felt a vague sense of unease, but after looking around he saw nothing unusual, so he asked the captain.
Good flight today?
No, very good.
Justin finally relaxed and went to his seat, but before he could sit down, a strange man nodded at him. Justin politely nodded back. Then he noticed something in the seat pocket ahead, an MP3 player, and it was playing a creepy story about Flight 1015. Wasn't that this very flight? Curious, he put on the headphones. The story described exactly what was happening on the plane right now. It said the flight attendant was doing the safety demo, and that it was raining heavily outside. Justin lifted the window shade to check. Sure enough, it was pouring outside. Then the man in the MP3 said that in 1 hour, the plane would vanish from radar and never reappear. Justin thought it was kind of funny, but suddenly the plane jolted. Luckily, it was just takeoff, but right after that the MP3 started discussing a plane crash mystery. The first thing it mentioned was Captain Donald, and right then the captain came on the intercom. Justin quickly paused the recording and asked the passenger next to him, "Is the captain's name Donald?" But the man looked confused. He hadn't been paying attention. Justin couldn't hold it in. He told the guy about the creepy story on the MP3 and tried to get him to listen, but the man stood up and left in disgust. So Justin had no choice but to put the headphones back on. The recording continued. At 10:21 a.m. bird would hit the plane. Just then the time hit 10:21. Suddenly there was a loud thud. Justin jumped from his seat. He flung off the headphones in panic. Terror surged through his mind. He ran to the bathroom to calm himself, but the flight kept going smoothly. None of the other passengers seemed to notice anything. Justin started to wonder if he was imagining things. He buckled his seatbelt, then rang for the flight attendant to ask if a bird had hit the plane, but the attendant impatiently said, "There are no birds at this altitude." Justin asked him to confirm with the captain, but the guy told him to keep it down. The argument drew annoyed looks from others. Justin realized maybe the story was making him too paranoid, so he stopped asking questions. But just after the attendant left, that man who nodded at him earlier suddenly sat behind him. He said he was sure a bird had hit the plane. His name was Berman. He used to be a pilot and had worked with Captain Donald, so he knew these things well. But he said the crew usually doesn't inform passengers. His words made Justin nervous again. He put on the headphones and kept listening. It said the plane would disappear from radar at 11:15. It was now 10:30. Time was running out. Sweat instantly beaded on his forehead. He realized he couldn't just sit and wait. He had to find clues to stop the disaster. The MP3 said, "Every disaster has subtle signs. Some are caused by mechanical failure, some by cabin fires that cause panic. When flying through a thunderstorm, certain signals can also affect flight stability." Justin suddenly saw two passengers watching a live stream, so he asked them to turn off their phones, but they said they were on airplane mode and ignored him. Justin got more intense, but the flight attendant asked him to sit back down. Helpless, he complied. Justin put the headphones on again. The recording seemed to know he found nothing and kept narrating like it was guiding him. It said there was an air marshal on board, protecting a witness who was about to testify against the mafia, and the mafia would do anything to stop the testimony. Maybe they'd even attack this flight to silence him. Justin jumped up to look around. He spotted two mafia-looking men at the front. He quietly told the flight attendant that he wanted to talk to the air marshal, but she had no idea there was one on board. Since secret ops like this are not shared with crew, Justin thanked her and headed back. But as he passed Berman, he suddenly had a realization. He turned and sat next to Berman. He suspected Berman wasn't a pilot at all, but actually the air marshal. But Berman denied it, and didn't look like he was lying. When most passengers were asleep, Justin decided to act on his own.